Welcome guys to yet another wonderful lecture. We want to focus on equations, inequality, specifically quadratic equations. So what is a quadratic equation? So a quadratic equation in one variable is an equivalent to this when the highest power of x is 2. Take note of that, and of course a is not 0. If a is 0, then this becomes linear, remember from our previous lesson. So a quadratic equation in one variable looks like this, and this is called a second degree or a second order equation where the highest power is 2. And then the solutions are also called the roots or zeros of the equation. So we can have different types of solutions. Since the power is 2, we can have 2 distinct real roots. We can also have one repeated real root, or we can have no real root, meaning to say it might be complex, or they will be complex but not real. So a good example of a standard quadratic equation form is 2x squared minus 5x plus 3, which is equals to 0. Alright, so there are 3 solution methods to quadratic equation. Well, in real life there are more. Maybe we can say put another one here. So we have got the factoring method where we factor and then we factor into 2 factors the quadratic equation, then we solve to find the zeros. And then the next method is called the completing the square. So we rewrite the equation as a perfect square trinomial and then use square root method to solve. And then the other method is where we use the quadratic formula. Most of us are familiar with this one. And also this one, that's the other way where we draw the quadratic graphs or sketch them to see where the solution lies. So the solution in the graphical method will lie where the graph cuts the axis. That is y and the x axis. So let's look at the first method, which is the filtering. So if you are given 2x squared minus x minus 3, which is equals to 0, and you want to factor this, so you will look at this and this. So if you multiply this, you will get something like 2 times this is a 6. So you are looking for 2 numbers such that if you multiply them, they give you a minus 6. Take note of this negative here. And if you multiply, they give you minus 6. If you add, they give you minus 1. So this minus 1 here. So you are looking for 2 factors such that if you do that, that's what you get. So this one is factors of 6, 2, and 3. So you can see factors of 6, 2, and 3. So this will be minus 3 times 2. This is minus 6 minus 3 plus 2. This is minus 1. So you substitute them in this middle term. So this will be 2x squared minus 3x plus 2x minus 3. And then you factor here 2x, you factor, you remain with x. You factor x here, you remain with 2x minus 3 plus you factor 1 here, you remain with 2x minus 3. Therefore, overall you get 2x minus 3, choose this guy, and then you remain with x plus 1, which is this one. So that's how we factor. And then from here you can then solve for the zeros. It's either this is 0. If this is 0, this will give us x is equals to 3 over 2. Or if x plus 1 is 0, you get your x to be minus 1, and your solution set is this one. Don't forget to verify your solution to check whether the solutions are correct. Alright, so the completing the square. So if we are completing the square, we are given 2x squared minus 8x is equal to 5. So what you want first is to have the leading coefficient, this one being 1. So you divide by 2 everywhere. So if you divide by 2 here, you get 1. If you divide by 2 here, you get 4. You divide by 2, you get this. And then from there, you add both sides, this guy, and where is this guy coming from? So you look into the coefficient of x, you divide the coefficient of x by 2, then you square it to get this guy that you are adding both sides, so that you get a perfect square. So you divide by 2 and then square. So if you divide by 2 here, you get minus 2, you square that, you get 4. You add 4 both sides. This is where this 4 is coming from. And then from there, you can then factor this, satisfy yourself that if you factor that, you get x minus 2, which is what we got here. Remember, this is minus 2 squared. And then is equal to 5. This is the same as 5 over 2 plus 8 over 2, which is 18 over 2. And then the square, if you square this, you will get x minus 2 plus or minus. Remember, every time you square, you get plus or minus that. So you get this, and then the final solution after squaring this, you will get, you can take this guy this other side, you will get 2, and then you can simplify this. So simplifying this, what we did here was just multiplying by 2, so this will be 26 over the numerator and the denominator over 4. We know the square root of 4 is 2, so that's why you get square root of 26 over 2. So that's the completing the square method. And then we have what we call the discriminant. So the discriminant of a quadratic equation is given by the terms under the square root. So the discriminant, sorry, let me use D, correct that, let's use D. So the discriminant D is what is under the square root after solving using the quadratic formula. So this determines the nature of your roots. So if you want to find or determine the nature or the type of the roots that you have, this will give you all the information that you want. So if the discriminant is greater than 0, so if b squared minus 4ac is greater than 0, this means that you have got two distinct, unique, real roots. If the discriminant is equals to 0, it means that you have got one repeated root. And then if the discriminant is less than 0, it implies that you have no real root. Then your roots are complex. Alright, so let's go through an example, and then we're using the quadratic formula. We want to solve this equation and identify the coefficients as x is equals to 3, a is equals to 3, b is equals to minus 5. Common mistake, most students will leave out the sign there, especially when it's a minus or the sign. So the signs are very important, and c is equal to 1. So we can calculate the discriminant here in this case. The discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. So the discriminant is given by minus 5 squared minus 4. A is 3, c is 1, and the discriminant is 13, and this is greater than 0. So we have got two unique solutions or roots or solutions. So in this case, we expect to have two solutions, and then you can then apply your formula, your quadratic formula. You substitute there already the discriminant you have. So this will give you 5 plus root 13 over 6, or x is equals to 5 minus root 13 over 6. Remember, the square root of something is plus or minus, so that's how you get the two solutions. Alright, so another problem, application problem. So if you want to construct a box, you will have a metal sheet, let's say of x centimeters. So when sometimes you're given these story sums, it's wise you draw the diagram. So if you're given this metal sheet, choose x plus x. Maybe let me use this. So suppose you are given the box. Suppose this is the box, and then you are told that you remove 9 centimeter square from each corner to make an open box holding this volume. Then find x. So what this is telling you is that you remove 9 centimeters. So remember, you remove 9 centimeter box from each corner. You remove 9 centimeter. So this, remember, from here to there is x. Therefore, from here to there is 9, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. So, what is the length of from here to here? So it's x minus, so 9, this we have removed 9 minus 9, 9 minus 9. So I'll write it here. So this distance, this one is equal to x minus 18. So this is x minus, so this is the distance from here to there, x minus 18. So now you can then visualize your box. So the box is given as the box so this is your box where if you join this, suppose you can then join this. Remember, you now, if you remove those corners, you remain with something like that looks like this. And then you can join this, you can join this and this, and then you can join this and that to get your box. And then your dimensions here, this one will be x minus 18. The height, remember, is 9, and the width here is x minus 18. So your length times width times height, this will be your volume. So in this case, your volume is given by length is equals to x minus 18 times x minus 18 times height, which is 9, and we are told this is equal to 144. We are told that this is 144. So this is x minus 18 squared times 9 is equals to 144. I think I have worked this. Let me continue from here. So this is what we have. 9x minus 18 squared is equals to this. If you divide by 9 both sides, you get this. Take the square root, you get plus or minus 4. Remember, every time you take a square root of any number, you get plus or minus. Then you can solve by bringing minus 18 this other side. So you can solve this by bringing minus 18. So x is equals to plus 4 plus 18, or minus 4 plus 18. So you get your 22 and 14 respectively. Alright, so and then you can verify whether your solutions are correct. So if you verify, you substitute for x in this one, you satisfy yourself that you get the volume of this, and then if you substitute for 14, so this will be 14 minus 18, 14 minus 18 times 9, 14 minus 18, that's minus 4, so this is minus 4 squared times 9, and this also gives you 144. So those are the solution sets as well. So that is your solution set. Then in conclusion, we are saying that the quadratic equation is a form for this, and then we covered 3 solution methods. The first one was factoring, and then completing the square, and then quadratic formula. And then said you can, if you have a graph or not to sketch, you can graph And then the discriminant is very important in telling you about the nature or determining the nature of your roots. And then applications often require setting up and solving quadratic equation. We looked at one application of a box. And then the next lesson we will explore complex numbers and more equation. Now that you have reached this far end, I want to check whether you have reached this far end. Can you please show using the quadratic equation and the completing the square method, show that x is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac everything over 2a. Right, so this is your assignment. You can share on the comment of this YouTube video and also subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to like, comment and share. Thank you.